So what exactly are the duties of a royal butler? I'm sure it's more than just making tea.
Yeah, thankfully, yes. I think I'd be a bit bored if it was that. It varies. It can be anything from making tea, serving table, looking after guests, looking after children. And it's the same whether it's a royal butler or a normal butler. That's kind of what the butler role in the 21st century has become. So it's almost like a modern day PA.
And how does one get into the business?
If you could do what I did, which is the tricky way, which was when I was about 9 or 10, I wrote to the Queen. And it's interesting because my memory is quite different to my parents' memory, and they seem to think that I wrote to the Queen asking how to become a member of the family. Because apparently I had a conversation with them and I said that I would like to either marry into the family or somehow work out how I could be involved in it, because I loved all the pomp and circumstance. So there was 2 letters and I got 2 responses, and in one of the letters apparently I even sent a photograph of myself. I think
headshot?
Yeah, headshot. The first selfie. Probably just so she knew what I looked like, so when I went there she would know, oh, there's Grant, come on in, kind of thing.
Can you tell us anything about your first encounter with the Queen?
Of course I can, because obviously with law and discretion there's things that I don't talk about, but at the same time people are interested in the royal family. There's many things that I can talk about, and yes, the Queen, absolutely amazing lady. And I do remember the first time I met her, and it was not as grand as I probably visualised it would be. I was riding on the Balmoral estate, and the last part of the ride we were coming down towards the castle, and as we were coming down, the horse I was on started kind of walking backwards, and there was something going on underneath. So I started kind of getting a bit obviously panicky, and I was about to say, I think there's rats or something, because I couldn't see them and they were moving so quick. And then I realised, I thought, oh God, it's corgis, and immediately panic then set in. And I just remember looking around, and just exactly again you'd see in a movie, there was the Queen just there with headscarf on, kind of smiling, looking over, and of course immediately I just said, "Good afternoon, Your Majesty," nodded my head. She just kind of smiled. I think she said good afternoon back, and that was it. And then we carried on, and I remember thinking, wow, that was my first introduction, and then I am getting all panicky about the corgis.
So aside from the Queen, I guess your age is more in line with, you know, Kate and Wills and that sort of thing. Yeah. Did you get to know them on a personal level as well?
Yeah, definitely. As you said, for me it was great because there isn't a huge age gap. Bear in mind, when I went to work for them, like everyone else, you see them as the royal family, and you don't really know what's the right way to behave, how friendly you can be, and you do discover quite quickly that they are very friendly, they're very down to earth, and when they're not doing the official stuff and they're off duty, they're just a family that like to entertain together. They go away together, they have their long weekends like at Balmoral and Sandringham, where they all get together, and that's really nice to see.
When you were working for them, did you make any big mistakes? Is there anything that stands out?
I mean, no, I think I've always been quite good. I mean, I don't even think I ever even broke anything when I was there. Yeah, I know. I mean, it was silly things. Like, I remember on one occasion, and to me this was a mistake, but it was a silly mistake. I remember being in a car and we were driving into a royal residence, and the Prince walks past, and we all kind of bowed at the same time. And then we kind of thought, as we walked back, we thought, this isn't really clever, because we've actually all now disappeared, and because obviously when you do the bow, we were kind of doing this, and the car's going past, and I thought, if he looks in, he's not going to see anyone. It'll look like the car's just gliding along on its own. So you kind of think, oh, that was a bit of a silly thing to do, and then thankfully he just laughed. So there's things like that you do, and you think, oh, that was a bit of a silly kind of moment.
What's the #1 etiquette faux pas that us mere mortals are making?
It's to do with the electronic devices, and I've kind of changed the way of thinking, because initially I would always say with mobile phones you never ever take them into a dining room and that kind of thing. I'm very aware that we live in a time when the devices, we use them all the time. So now the advice I give is, if you must have the mobile phone, have it switched off, keep it in the pocket. The only time you can check it, don't check the table if you can. If you want to check it, the golden rule originally was that you could leave the table after the main course to go to the loo. Leave the napkin on the chair, never on the table because you're coming back, and that's the opportunity to quickly check the messages if you really have to.
So on the topic of food, this is a controversial topic both at home and in the office here. So how do you make the perfect cup of tea? The controversies around, does the milk or the water go in first?
Upstairs, we'd always put the milk in after, the downstairs put the milk in before. The reason being, and it's really simple, there's a theory that the clay mugs originally used to crack from the heat. Now, I don't think they all cracked, I think some cracked. And when Josiah Spode invented the bone china, which has got animal bone in it, it could sustain the heat. So they could put the tea in first and then the milk in after. So the upstairs invested in this fine bone china, and it was a sign of status, as oh look, I've got fine bone china and I can put boiling tea in and it doesn't crack, and then they put the little bit of milk. Where downstairs they were more likely to put the milk in first to stop the mug from cracking and then put the tea in. So it's a kind of status thing.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me on, I appreciate it.